Check this out.
Bollywood superstars.
All set? Let's go.
Richa, what was the vision that you had for yourself when you came into the industry?
I was actually pretty clueless, to be honest. I remember when I got Oye Lucky, I had gotten out of St. Stephen's College, and I had to go and revisit Delhi in a way that I had forgotten. When I was extremely small, we used to live in a neighborhood which was like a mohalla and with a joint family, and that was the kind of lingo. So I had to go and revisit stuff like that. And at that time I remember they didn't even I said, please give me the script, and I would get the script, and I used to wonder, okay, this is the first half, that's the second half. I didn't really for me, I didn't bother with this. Now I feel like, how did I not even read the script before I said yes to doing it? But at that time I was like, okay, Dharminder ka bhatija hai aur ek khosla ka director hai, let's go. They're going outdoors, let's go. And I just said yes, and I just went and did it in full faith, and I don't regret it. It was super fun, and especially you just literally fresh off the boat and out of college, you just feel like, oh, I'm in a movie. You feel like you've made it. You don't know how hard it is after. And that's exactly what happened to me. My break was very easy. I got it within 2 months of auditioning. I'd auditioned for, and everything I auditioned for, I got shortlisted for. For Devdi that Anurag was making at the time, for Oye Lucky. Shujit Sarkar was making a film called Shoe Bite, which never released or never got made or something. So I feel really happy that I've come this far, that if someone says, okay, what are mention the top 10 films of the last, say, decade. And 3 of my films will be in there. The Masaan will be in there. Gangs of Wasipur will definitely be in there. And Oye Lucky will be in there. I feel really proud of that filmography. And also, if I'd done a different kind of film, it would have paid me pots and pots of money. Without taking names, if I'd done some really senseless, haha, hee, giggly comedy, shot abroad, which people watch here because they need to watch things on the weekend. And they probably forget about it in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And after that, they'll wonder, oh, is this song from that film or this film? Or when is it gonna, same actor. It's very confusing. I would have had pots and pots of money. Maybe I would have had a farmhouse in Karjat or Kamshet or whatever is trendy right now. But I don't know if I would have had this body of work. And what do you do with money after a point? In a farmhouse also, you sit and talk, to somebody like this. So I'd rather... Money is not a goal for me like that. I like money and it always comes. I've never short of money. But I'm saying, if you've seen me in some really duddy film in a cameo, then it's probably money.
Right. But are you greedier as an actor today than you were maybe a few years back?
For sure. I don't wanna be cheated like I have been in the past. Also, that's something that you learn with experience. And I see in every trajectory of every star that has come from outside, that at some point they've been lied to. They've just been put in the film because their name means something, but it's not like their roles are amazing. So I see it with even actresses today who are very accomplished, like Kangana, or everybody's gone through this thing where you do a really big film but your role is hardly there, stuff like that. It happens to everyone, and it happens, I think, because they just think, "Arey, iska papa ya mummy to hame phone nahi karega," types. There's no fear of that retribution. My parents won't even know what film is coming out when. That's the difference in living an ordinary life and then living in this Bollywood bubble.
Right. And are you surprised by where you are today?
I feel like I'm very detached from it at some level because I watch it very objectively, and I think in the larger scheme of things, किसी को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? If you're traveling out of Bombay, your plane takes off somewhere and no one cares if you're living in Versova or Lokhandwala, what films have come out. Only you care. Only people in your immediate neighborhood care. Even all the people in India don't care. I'm sure people in Kerala and Assam don't care, and these are all parts of India. People do not care what happens in the Rajasthan's desert, what film is coming out, what the box office is. They care more about the reality of living in this country, and which is something I also care deeply about, or in this world. So beyond a point, I don't care.
Right. And if I ask you what your career highs and career lows are, what would they be?
High moments would be my entire week or that I had got to spend in Cannes because of Masaan. That was a great validation for me, because stuff keeps happening. Like even now, 3-4 of my films are stuck. 3, suppose. Actually, must be more than 3, 4. They're stuck. I've worked really hard on them, which means I must have done 18-hour shifts, traveled, bought tickets, gone back and forth, and shot like mad for those films. Worked really hard. For some reason, they are stuck because of the producer or the producers involved or the star or the director. I don't know the reason, but that really puts you down, because you feel because you've given your best, and you can be naive enough to believe that just because you've given your best, it will work. So those moments are quite low, but I think high moments are my entire experience at Masaan and then at Marrakesh was very a great validation for me, and at an international level where I met people who had seen my work. And after this whole Cannes thing, I had gone last year to LA to shoot a film, and there I had a few meetings. So I met with people at ABC, and I walked in and they asked me specific questions about Masaan. How did you do that scene? How did you play somebody so old in Gangs of Wasseypur? And I was taken aback, and I said, oh my God, this is cinema. This is the power of cinema. They're watching it in other countries, and they were executives at ABC, so I was very surprised. And I think that validation gives you a lot of high points, and it's a very mellow kind of high. It's not something it's not like driving a fast car or winning an award. That is not just in the moment. It lasts for a long time. But I think my absolute lowest points was when I lost a film to another actor. A film I really wanted to do. A film I think I would have been better in. A film, dare I say, had I done it, would have worked at the box office, because I knew what I would have done with the film.
But when something like this happens, does it surprise or shock you?
I was initially, then I was like, okay. Like each film has karma also. It just comes back in some ways. I really wanted to do it because I would have done a stellar job. So that really hurts.
Sure. But moving on, let's talk of nicer things. Let's talk about your Cannes experience.
I think at that time it was really fun for us because we used to sleep very little. We used to keep partying till the wee hours of the morning. Me, Shweta, Vicky, Neeraj. Neeraj, who is the coolest 80s buff, 80s, 90s buff. Like if you see his song playlist, you won't believe that he's made Masaan. So we had so much fun at that time. And then in the morning you'd get up and do press interviews, then go for a soiree or something, and then again some event in the evening, and then come back party, and then that whole week was like that. It was huge fun.
Right. And so you have worked with directors here and directors in the West. So what would you say is the key difference between, working here and working there?
It's like there are very few directors here that, if you tell a joke and people get it, that's really funny, right? Because then they laugh with you. So oftentimes I feel over here that I'm working on something and I'm trying to talk to someone and they don't get it. So working in the West for me sometimes is like somebody getting your joke. And that's really interesting. It's just that, like, they just get it. I'm not saying that bad films don't happen there, but I feel like it's more, first of all, it's more respectful of every actor. And there's no terminology like character role, side hero, heroine ki dost, heroine ki behan. It doesn't exist. Second lead and all. It doesn't exist. That terminology itself doesn't exist, and that says a lot about the industry. They value every actor, which is why you have really huge actors doing really small parts in really amazing films, So, and it doesn't matter who's on the poster of the film. When you watch the film, and everybody brings their own weight and respect and credibility to the part. And that's something I wish for India as well. People just assume that Indian audience is dumb. Indian audience is not dumb. It's only proving to be not dumb in the recent past with the box office performance. So people are like, hey, hang on a second, content is king. No, content was always king. You just didn't give it a chance and now you don't have a choice. You know, so that's the difference. I feel like we have not successfully been able to marry good quality with good commerce. We have not been able to do that. Even a really huge film like Avengers, why are A-list actors working in it? They're working in these amazing Marvel films because they are good actors first. You will have a Robert Downey Jr. or a Scarlett Johansson and Jennifer Lawrence, all these amazing actors working in these huge mega million multi-country films. For what reason? Because they have been discovered and appreciated in a Silver Linings Playbook or something, and they take that and they use it, and then they continue to do these films as well. That we don't have. And it's not just the fault of the industry. It's also, to be honest, a big fault. Burden falls on the media. When, like, if I interact with him and I find out that they say, okay, you know, पर इसकी कौन सी film है? अरे पर वो तो arty film है, या so somebody is doing a huge item song will get more respect and credibility than people who have worked in good films consistently. And that's why I feel like no one's happy in the business. It's not easy to not have an existential crisis if you're an artist anywhere in the world. Literally 1% of actors or artists, painters, musicians, any kind of artist make money, you know, that's the 1%. I'm very fortunate that I'm in the 1%, that I'm able to make money from my craft that gives me joy, you know, like I love doing something and I get paid for it. But overall, I feel like our standard should be much higher.
Right.
Of performance,
sure,
of writing, of direction.
Right. So is that why you decided to produce?
Sure, yeah, I guess. But this one was just because, I had a friend and I wanted to collaborate with him and he had this film ready. He came to me with the ready film. I just put in some money to release it that's it. But I would love to, but not short films. If I say I want to produce a short film now, like some 20 people will line up outside my house right now.
I'm sure. And which film would you say was your turning point from your point of view?
I think definitely Gangs of Wasseypur. It created lots of misconceptions about me, about the kind of person I was, like really crass, rough, like somebody who couldn't speak English and somebody already like over the hill, like must be in her 40s type. Of course, it did create all those misconceptions, but it put me on the map, like put a lot of eyes on me. It was a film that many people watched and got and loved because it was just a different film. I think it was a turning point in many lives, in the lives of Nawaz, as well as in the life of Anurag Kashyap. It was his first big box office thing.
Bollywood Superstars.